Hiya, welcome back to the channel. So we are in the Citroen today, and well, it doesn't seem its usual stallion self, and well, I've got my suspicions on something it could be, or it might make no difference whatsoever. And that something is this. It's the fuel sender unit, or well, the fuel pump, and this one has been skillfully supplied to us by Ash Carter, Jelly Snake Motorsport. If you need any bits for a C1 or anything, he's like my go-to guy to get stuff from. Anyway, I have had this out in the past when I was looking for the fuel filter, which isn't that easy to find. So, well, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to fit a new one, but I'm going to do some comparisons while I'm at it. And to get to it, to start with, we need to remove this seat because it is under there. Yes. And now with that out of the way, we can get to everything just a little bit easier. So this is the first one I'm going to unplug. There's two buttons, one on each side to squeeze in. You've got to squeeze it pretty hard, and then it is quite hard to get off. Because I do want to make a comparison that I did mention. So set that off, and then put this on into this, and then see how fast it actually pumps. And I don't know if that was good or not, but basically it's filled that up 100 millilitres or just underneath during its initial prime. Whether we'll be able to tell any difference or not from looking at the way it pumps out, well, we'll see, won't we? So anyway, let's get on with checking it out. I've already done an acceleration run, and I'll put the comparison with the old pump and the new pump at the end. Anyway, let's get on with taking the shitter out. So that's that one disconnected. Then there's this here, which has got a tab there which needs pushing in, and then that should unplug to this. You have, don't know if you can see that very well, but you've got two little tabs which need squeezing inwards. Push it towards it, squeeze it, and then pull it. Now these can be awkward, to be honest with you. I might not be able to do that from that angle, and sometimes you might just find that they're a proper twat to get off. Eventually I've got this one to disconnect with, well, using little prongs to release this here, and if you see the state of that, yes. So yeah, they can be a bit of a twat sometimes. Anyway, let's get this ring off, which can also be a bit of a twat sometimes. And of course, this can be extremely tight. Now there is a tool specifically for getting hold of these, but obviously I ain't got one, so I'm just using a screwdriver and an hammer. And there is one lug, if you're doing it the same struggle method, there is one lug on this ring that is a lot bigger than the rest of them, because if you hit the other ones, it's just going to break off. So let's get this. Yes. Yes. That was the hardest part. And then we can pull this out. Like so. And then before we take this too far away, we do need this wonderful condition clip off it to put on the new one. And now we've got the new one, put that onto there, and just nice and carefully put it in. Now there is like a guide there which goes into, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little square hole there which that goes into. And it should just be a case of dropping this in like so, and then putting this shitter back on, and then just keep tightening this until it's tight. Well, torque to manufacturer specific torque settings. And I can connect that back up. This one we're leaving off for a minute. Let's plug this back into there. This, which just covers up this bit of a breather here, I've took off the other pump, so that just put him back on there. And then let's put this pipe onto here and let's see how this pump pumps. I don't know if that's any different or not. So let's finish putting the shitter back together and then see if there's any difference in performance and acceleration. I mean, the difference in performance, why it might just feel slow, it's probably nothing to do with the fuel pump. I mean, it's probably just because I put big silly wheels on it or something like that. But I just wanted to rule it out. So anyway, that is now sort of together. Now we are fully together. Moment of truth. Yes. Yes. So it does in fact run. So let's go see if it drives any different. And I'm not really noticing anything massive straight away, but let's put a side by side up for comparisons. As you can see from that has really effectively done precisely fuck all, apart from possibly show how consistent the testing methods are. Anyway, at the end of the video I'm still going to strip down the old send unit because, well, if I break it, it doesn't matter, I don't need it anymore, and I'm going to try and find that fuel filter. But off topic a little bit, a few weeks ago on this car it was smoking its tits off and I did an engine restore on it, and it worked pretty well actually. I mean, it's more or less stopped most of the smoke, pretty much all the smoke, to be honest with you. And then Kitch at UPnDOWN, another channel, good channel actually, I've been watching that for a while now, and he tried the same thing on a similar car with a similar engine, and unfortunately didn't have quite as successful results at it. And I think I know why. To be honest, I was watching the video and I sort of knew it wasn't going to work straight away, because on the dyno, when he had it on the dyno, it wasn't smoking when it was under load. It was only smoking after it was on overrun, which indicates valve stem oil seals. Because what happens is, I mean, this is probably a bit boring and a bit technical, and most people are probably just going to fast forward it or turn off by now. But basically, if you have valve stem oil seals that are leaking, the time that they will leak the most is after the car's been on overrun, because you've got the throttle body shut, not letting the air through, the engine's going fast still because it's on overrun, and then what happens is you get vacuum pulling the oil through the valve stem oil seals, and then when you put your foot down again you get a cloud of smoke. And I saw that on the dyno and I thought, it's probably not going to work on this, to be honest with you. I mean, mine still does that a little bit, it still does a puff of smoke after it's been on overrun, but the main smoke I had is I was driving down the motorway and I had a James Bond smoke screen behind me. Like, if I were doing 70 miles an hour I had a smoke screen behind me all the time with this. It didn't let up at all, and now I haven't got that, but I still do have a little bit of smoke after being on overrun. I'll try and show that see how it's getting on a few thousand miles later. Probably done about 1,500 miles since I did it. And it appears that it's still working. So possibly something for, well, re-softening the stem seals or something. Maybe there's another additive for that might be worth trying. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to take this shitter apart, so let's do that. Now the fuel filter will be somewhere inside there. This is the pump itself, and it'll have like a little tea bag going into it. Now I've had problems with them before on bikes where they've clogged up with rust from rusty fuel tanks and caused issues, and they are usually cleanable on bikes, but this one appears to be a little bit harder to get to, so let's just nice and carefully try and access it. Yes. And it appears that it was actually glued, so there's no way of getting to it without breaking it, I don't think. But there it is. Looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look. Take this off to the pressure relief valve and see what's under there. not a whole lot. If we look in here, we can see that we do in fact have a bit more of a fuel filter, and we can see that it is actually quite dirty. So there is the elusive C1 107 Aygo in-tank fuel filter, which is not replaceable without replacing all of this shit. So I think that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual shit, and see you next time.